Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the group bryophytes. There do we have discussed about the liverworts and mosses as well as the characteristics shown by the members of bryophytes and their mode of reproduction. There do we have also discussed that bryophytes, they are also known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Their body is thalloid-like, means they do not bear true roots, stems and leaves, and whereas the main plant body was the gametophytic plant body, means the main plant body was haploid in nature. Today we'll discuss about the pteridophytes, as these pteridophytes, they mostly includes horsetails and ferns, and the members of pteridophytes, they are having some of them having medicinal values for certain medicinal purposes. They also act as soil binders. As we have also discussed in bryophytes, the bryophytes, they were also helping to prevent soil erosion. Just do like these pteridophytes, they also help to prevent soil erosion, as well as certain members, they are used as ornamental plants, means for decorative purposes in different events. For example, in making the certain types of decorations, these members are used. These pteridophytes, they mostly grow in the cool, damp and shady areas, means they should be having dampness and shady areas, as well as certain members, they also grow very well in sandy soils. As the members, they are able to grow within the sandy soils, so we may also correlate that evolutionarily they are the first group of the plant kingdom which have developed to grow upon the such type of habitats. So to fulfill that, they are having the first group which possesses the vascular tissues or conducting tissues. Do we know that within the plant body, the vascular tissues or the conducting tissues are the xylem and phloem? We have also discussed that xylem, it helps to conduct water and minerals within the plant body, whereas the phloem, it helps to conduct the reserve, we can say the most importantly the glucose, or we may say the prepared food from one part of the body to the other part. So these are the first group of plants in which these vascular or conducting tissues are present. If we go for their main plant body, the main plant body is sporophytic, means it is diploid in nature. As do we have discussed in the case of bryophytes, the main plant body was gametophyte, means it was haploid in nature. So as it is sporophyte in nature, means diploid in nature, and it possesses true roots, stems as well as leaves. So obviously to fulfill the conduction mechanism, they are having that particular conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. In certain members, the leaves, they are small in size, means they are in smaller in size. So they are called as microphylls, as in the member of, in the case of Selaginella. So we may observe in the case of Selaginella, the leaves, they are very much small in size. So they are micro, showing the condition microphiles. Whereas in the case of ferns, the size of the leaves are bigger, so they shows the macrophylls condition. As do we may observe within the case of fern, the size of the leaves, they are bigger in size, so they shows the macrophyll condition. As we know, in the case of Pteridophytes, the main plant body is sporophytic in nature. So the sporophytes, it bears sporangia. And these are subtended by leaf-like structures which are called as sporophylls. Just we may consider within the diagram, this is the sporangia, and they are subtended. They are subtended by leaf-like structures. These leaf-like structures are called as sporophylls, which are called as sporophylls. In some cases, these sporophylls, they form compact structures and which are called as strobili or cones. For example, this one is the sporangia, and they are enclosed by the sporophylls, and these sporophylls, they are so much compact that they form a cone-like structure. So this is known as strobili or cone. For example, in the case of Selaginella and Equisetum. For example, in the case of this member, which is Equisetum, we may observe this sporangia. It is enclosed by leaf-like structures, which are the sporophylls, and they are so much compact that they form a cone-like structure, which are called as strobilus or cone-like structure. So these sporangia, they form spores. As it is diploid in nature, it has to make it haploid in nature. So through the reductional division or the meiotic division, the spores are formed through the meiotic division process, and these spores germinate to give rise to inconspicuous small structures which are multicellular structures and gametophytic phase. Thyroid in nature, free living, as well as it is photosynthetic in nature. As do we have discussed in the case of bryophytes, the main plant body was thus gametophyte, and upon which the sporophytes were dependent. But in this case, what do we observe? The gametophytes, they are independent of these sporophytes. Means they are photosynthetic in nature, they are free living, and they are multicellular structure. They are independent of the sporophytic stage. As these are also known as prothallus, which is inconspicuous, means it cannot be easily identified by us, and the body would be thallus-like. So as these gametophytes, they require damp, shady, and cool places to grow. So as they require cool, damp and shady places to grow, so they are not able to grow or germinate far from any of the water body. They require water for their process of further growth and development and fertilization process. So to fulfill the fertilization process, they require the water, and due to this specific restricted requirement and the need of water for their fertilization, the spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to very narrow geographical regions. We may find them, the members we may find them very easily near to any water body. They cannot be present from far from any of the water body because they require the water for completing the process of fertilization. As do we have discussed, the sporangia, which contains the spores and which is subtended by the leaf-like structures, which was called as sporophylls, and in some cases it is compact in nature, which was forming the strobili or cone, and as the spores, they are formed by the meiotic division. So the structures which were called as prothallus or the gametophytic phase, we may say, will bear two types of sex cells, the male sex cells and the female sex cells. As Antheridia, it bears the male sex gametes, which is the anthrozoites, and these anthrozoites, as they are smaller in size and they are motile in nature, it requires water to reach to the mouth of the archegonium where it fuses with the egg cell. So, we have discussed just now why these pteridophytes, they require water for their fertilization process to be completed. So they grow near to any of the water body, and they require such type of conditions through which they are able to grow near to any of the water body. And as these anthrozoites, they fuses with the egg cell, they forms the zygote, and as the zygote is formed, it undergoes the differentiation process to form the sporophytic phase, which is the multicellular stage. And this sporophytic, as we have discussed, it is the main plant body within the case of pteridophytes. As we have discussed, in the case of bryophytes, gametophyte was the main plant body, but in the case of pteridophytes, the main plant body is the sporophyte. So like do that, these pteridophytes, they reproduce and they transform into the mode of reproduction, and they form the another sporophytic plant body which is multicellular in structure. Now, depending upon the kinds of spores, certain members, they are having both the spores of the same kind, means they are having the similar kind of spores, so they are called as homosporous. So in majority of the members, they show the condition which is homosporous, whereas in certain members they shows heterosporous condition, means the spores, they are of dissimilar kind. For example, in the case of Selaginella and Salvinia, the megaspore, which is obviously bigger in size, which is a female gametophyte, and the microspore, which is a male gametophyte. Do we can compare with our case also? In the case, do we know the sperms, they are smaller in size, they are motile in nature, whereas the ovum, they are bigger in size as compared to the sperm, and they are non-motile. So just do like in this case, we may observe the megaspores, which are the female gametes, and whereas the microspores, which are the male gametes. So as we have discussed, the megaspores and the microspores, they germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophytes, which is a megaspore, in these plants, they are retained on the parent sporophyte, means upon the sporophytic plant body, and for variable periods. So the development of the zygote into young embryo takes place within the female gametophyte. So this event is the precursor. To the seed habit, which is considered to be an important step in the evolution process. So as we will discuss in the next coming groups, the gymnosperms and angiosperms, they bear the seeds. So obviously we may observe that within the case of pteridophytes, this particular event, it shows the seed habit, which is the precursor to form the seeds, which helps to form the embryo and within the female gametophytic body. So as we can compare, just like in the case of the sexual reproduction, the male gamete, it fuses with the female gamete, and the zygote, it develops and it transforms into embryo within the body of the female. So just do like here also, we may observe the zygote, it transforms into the embryo and it takes place within the female body, and that is the precursor for the seed habit. The pteridophytes, they are further classified into 4 classes, which are Coelopsida. For example, Coelotum is the member. Second class is the Lycopsida. For example, Selaginella. and Lycopodium, they are the members. The third class is the Sphenopsida, in which the Equisetum is the member. And the fourth class is the Pteropsida, in which, for example, Rhabteris, Pteris, and Adiantum, etc. are the members. So, till so far here, we have discussed about the pteridophytes regarding the characteristics, their mode of reproduction, and the specific characters shown by them. Thank you. Have a nice day.